This is our first session here on Full-Time. Wonderful to have you all join us this weekend. Join us here as we talk about sport and all sorts of other things, no doubt. Of course, we want to send this shout-out going out to our sponsors, Racecrack Motors, of course. They're down there on Grey Street. We are welcoming, first of all, to the show, of course, as usual, our man, Rino Wilkinson. Morena, bro.
Yeah, morena, bros. And hey, good to be back this Saturday morning. You know, wasn't there last week with our Hauraki Kapaka Festival, but yeah, good to be back with the boys.
It's going to be busy up your ways throughout the summer, though, isn't it, Reno?
Yeah, plenty of events on. The whole area is pretty full on today. Everything from a gym opening through to market days, muscle car, classic car shows. Got the Valley Boys doing a show, trolley derbies. There's just so much. Fashion shows, bit of a rock and roll concert as well. It's just that time of year, Keith, where things get busy every weekend. So you're pretty well buggered right through the whole summer. But hey, come on down to the smaller towns. There's a lot of things happening every weekend.
Now, also joining us from over there in Australia, we have with us our man JT, otherwise known as Jason Tawhiwhirangi. Morena, bro.
Yeah, morning, Keith. Morning, Reno. Morning, everyone. How are you?
Not too bad, my man. Not too bad at all. How are things over there in Australia?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, look, I was hoping to wake up the next day and it was all a bad dream, but congratulations to the Roosters. They outgunned us, outthought us, outplayed us, outscored us, and they definitely outcronked us.
They outconked you for sure. Yeah, it wouldn't happen last year though, but it happened this year. Oh well, let's go on. Well, we've kind of covered it over the weekend, over the week.
Oh,
certainly.
Thank goodness for that, because like I said, it's cricket season now, so it's on the watch. Well up the willow, shine that lily, and let's go.
Some interesting things did come about over the week, though, concerning rugby league. One of them, Sam Burgess, apparently has had to pull out of the upcoming series against the Kiwis, and other sorts of things have happened in League Two, haven't they, Reno?
Yeah, totally. And when you take a look at that game on Sunday. The three games, actually, JT.
Why not?
Broncos girls just too good, to win against the Roosters. And then, of course, they had the Bulldogs, the Greg Eastwood, winning over the Dolphins. And your Storm just didn't turn up to play, bro. But the Roosters, you can't take nothing away from their grand final win, bro?
No, not at all, Reno. You're spot on. And as disappointing as it is for me to admit this, we just weren't good enough on the night. We were flat. Don't know what was happening. Will Chambers had an absolute shocker. Cameron Munster was well off. Our forwards were gaining no momentum, except for maybe a couple, but their forwards, especially their bench players, their unheralded players like Tetavano off the bench and Isaac Liu and players like that, they just ran it well, and our boys just looked like the possum in the headlights. And disappointing, yes, but another season we've gone so close. I think we've been in 7 or whatever this grand finals now. We've come away short a few times and. Mate, it's just frustrating to get all that way and then fall over at the last hurdle, but it is what it is. We'll look forward to next year. Good news in terms of the signing, the re-signed Big Mouse and us off the Solomona for another 5 years. So that's one great thing we can build from there. And got some young guns coming through. I'm looking forward to Jerome Hughes filling in for Billy Slater at fullback next year. Brandon Smith might get more game time. I'm not sure what the old boys Cameron Smith is doing, but it's disappointing. Like I said, but. Another good thing is it wasn't a refereeing blunder or howler or controversial call which cost us. We just got outplayed, and you can't take anything away from the Bondi boys. And yeah, the cricket season. Let's talk about cricket.
So where you are, bro, up on the old Goldie up there, and those Broncos ladies, they'll be talking them up, because they would have had they were just dominant the 4 weeks during the series.
They were.
Yeah, no, they were too good, absolutely. And there's a few Burleigh Bears players, actually there are Burleigh Bears players on both sides, in the Broncos and the Roosters, in that game on the weekend. But yeah, how good were the Broncos lady? So just carve them the middle. But one good thing for the Roosters, Keithy, and I know you've had a huge input into her career. In fact, you said on the show you taught everything she knows. Lisa Maynard making the Kiwi side.
Yes.
You're proud of that, mate?
Yes. I pretty much figured she was. She was also playing for the Kiwis last year. She in the Women's Rugby League World Cup. She made the team. She came off the bench as well, but great to see that she actually started. And it was wonderful to see that final, kind of finally come to fruition too, wasn't it, JT? I mean, I think you would agree that, history certainly in the making, eh? It's had to be a proud moment for all of those ladies that took part in the entire competition, and particularly, of course, the grand final.
Oh, 100%. It bodes well for the future. There's other women players out there that look at this opportunity, young girls perhaps in their teens, thinking, look, there's a pathway here for us to achieve some sort of success and become professional, rugby league players. And well, I've got nothing but praise for those that have organised it, the players, those behind the scenes, the sponsors, the coaches and everything. It's good for the game, and long may it go on.
Long may it go on, absolutely, for sure there, eh, Rino?
Oh, totally agree. Like we're talking on Wednesday, for these ladies who part of the inaugural year for them, they'll be etched in history. And for the Broncos players, Kimi Oronati winning the medal as well. So, yeah, a lot of history played out of their game on Sunday afternoon. So, yeah, great. And I'm looking forward to next year. And just listening to Ruan Sim speak, you can see she's going to be a future ambassador for the ladies in rugby league. Very passionate. No doubt a passionate Cronulla Sharks fan as well. And I'm thinking hopefully one day she'll have a Sharks team in there. So, yeah, it can only grow. But I think by the sounds of it, they're going to stick to similarities for next year and just let it go a little bit, take small steps at a time, bro.
Yeah, indeed. And also what I really liked was the fact that I think it was the captain of the Broncos team. She really acknowledged the ladies that went before them for laying down the foundation, I dare say, for the ladies that are able to take part now. I mean, and that just is, pretty much needed, and great acknowledgement, isn't it there, JT?
Yeah, 100%, Keith. You're on the money again. So that's Ali Brigginshaw you speak of, the Broncos captain. And just backtracking a bit to the Dally M Awards, everyone still talks about how good some of the wives and their partners look. I think Ali Brigginshaw's partner was the best looking one there, just quietly.
How true.
Mate, isn't she attractive? Far up.
Oh, mate.
she's one very attractive lady. Very attractive.
She is indeed. I also heard that, what's his name? Ivan Cleary. He's going to be set to take over the Penrith Panthers.
Yep.
Is that right? Yeah, that's right, eh? 2021, that's expected to happen. So, yeah, that's an interesting predicament, would you say there, Reno?
Yeah, no surprise though. The talk around him wanting to coach his son. Look, his son, I think, signed up a contract there for 5 or 6 years, something like that.
Right.
And yeah, Dad's always wanted to coach the boys, so yeah, no surprise that will come up. So yeah, a couple more years, I guess, with the Tigers, and switch over to another cat and play with the Panthers.
Fair enough. Also, Greg Inglis, he got up to a little bit of mischief, didn't he, JT?
Yeah, a bit disappointing for the game in general. Rugby league is often tarnished by different people. Mud gets thrown at the game, and we don't need players, especially senior players, like G.I. doing silly stuff like that, getting caught speeding and a mid-range drink driving conviction, which is it's pretty heavy. So, yeah, it's just silly guys, Like I say, I always fight the fight for rugby league, and then, incidents like this certainly don't help the cause. But that's made way for Boyd Cordner to become the first Australian skipper from New South Wales since, I think, about 2005, when Danny Baderis was the last New South Wales captain. And in that squad now, it's a changing of the tide, changing of the guard, rather, and another 20 12 from New South Wales. So, yeah, Queensland will be back.
Well, true that, but it's interesting. Mal Meninga, the coach, he was saying that it's going to be kind of difficult for Greg Inglis to captain the Kangaroos again.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 100%. So, and he may not even play for the Kangaroos again. He's at the twilight of his career. I'm not too sure what their international schedules are like over the next 12 months or so, but yeah, going to be a tough one for GI to come back from that. And saying that, though, you'll see Proctor and Jay Bromwich, Jesse Bromwich are back in the Kiwis, and after the little incident down in Canberra last year.
Yeah.
But, mate, rugby league's a forgiving game, so you never know. I was one of the best to play the game, so, yeah, it's just a silly mistake, and deservedly cops a bit of a penalty.
What was also great, Reno, was, hearing that Isaac Luke has re-signed at least 1 year for the Warriors.
Yeah, that was great news. He had an outstanding year this year for the Warriors at number 9, and there's a lot of ups and downs. Where was he going to go? Was he going to go to the Knights? Well, obviously that's not going to happen. And 1 year with the signs, I actually caught up with Bully, had a chat with him yesterday morning on here, and basically what it comes down to is the whānau, wife and the kids, and home. Home is where it is. This is why they came back initially from the Rabbitohs, and this is what it is. Okay, he's taken a pay cut, but just wants to be home. He wants the family to grow up home, the kids to go around home. And, I was asking to say, if you were like Manu, big Manu, he's back from overseas. He's now doing a building contract. He's playing around with the hammer and nails. What would you be doing, Bully? He goes, mate, bro, I want to go back to the meatworks, work with the bros.
Well, okay.
That is a bit of an insight. Yeah, but yeah, he has signed up for a year, and it's all about home, mate. Whānau, and he just wants to kick back and give 1 more year to the Warriors.
Yeah, fair enough too. 1 more year. Should be the magic year too, by the way. 2019, I've been saying. 2019, Reno. Should be great to go and see that grand final next year.
Oh, that's wishful thinking, mate. We've been talking about this for about 24 months just about.
Yep.
So fingers crossed they got to the finals this year and see what brings on next year. One kid I want to talk about, though, is there's a lot of raps on this kid, Katoni Stagg. JT may know more on this kid. Obviously had a couple of games in the NRL for the Bronx, played for the Dolphins as well, and only a youngster, but a lot of rave on this kid as well. So, when you got the likes of this young fella coming through, whether he decides he's playing Queensland or New South Wales for Origin, also Kalen Ponga, the future, there's a lot of youngsters coming out of the woodwork, JT.
Yeah, I think with Katoni Staggs, I think he's from a town called Wellington, which is in New South Wales. I think he's a New South Welshman. There's also heritage as Indigenous Australian and Tongan, so there's a bit of a mixture there, a bit of a like Andrew Fafita, same sort of mixture, Tongan and Indigenous Australian. So, absolute gun. He's got a big future ahead of him, young Staggs, and look forward to seeing what unfolds with his career.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But there are a lot of up and coming. It's funny. Each and every year there seems to be somebody coming out of the woodwork. Certainly, isn't there, JT? There's always somebody up and coming. Is there anyone else that you think, could be on the radar or should be on the radar?
Oh, there's one bloke that impressed me immensely this year, is a young fellow called Jesse Rainey, and he was nominated for Rookie of the Year from Cronulla, but he's moving to Newcastle next year. Bit of a gun centre, strong defensively and in attack as well. So keep an eye on Jesse Raymond. He's my young gun of the future.
Nice. Okay.
And I think the development too they got announced here in New Zealand yesterday was the Warriors will officially have a touch team, Warriors touch team in the premiership over there as well. So that's some big news. And obviously the games of similarity, touch and league, similar type of stuff there going on. And I know a young guy from our way who's been touted to play for this Warriors Premier Touch team as well. So I know it's a big thing over there in Australia. A lot of the league clubs have touch teams play now.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
You see much of that, JT?
Yeah, touch is massive here, boys. We've got a couple of friends. Their son plays in the Titans NRL touch team. So they generally play curtain raisers or on the day before or even sometimes the morning of or whatever against other NRL touch teams, and it's getting bigger by the day. Not my favourite sport, touch, but, it's definitely another opportunity for those that, and as a result of playing touch, they might switch to rugby league and have a crack at that. So, it's good. If it benefits rugby league, then, I'm all for it.
And it has traditionally, though, hasn't it, Reno? I think certainly in this area. What do you reckon?
Oh yeah, you take the name Benji Marshall, Sean Johnson.
Yes.
There's a few kids. Back in the day, there was a young talented kid who could have had a contract with St George Dragons. Remus Gentles, massive name in the game of touch here in Aotearoa. Had skills to go, but obviously fell off the rails and